Welcome to this webinar on how to close the execution gap in supply chain management and operations management by RealGame. My name is Kirsi Lainema, and in today's session we will explore how RealGame helps students to develop the missing capability in operations and supply chain management execution. With me today I have PhD Timo Lainema, the developer of RealGame business simulations, who will show what an execution gap looks like as a student team's performance, but also what learning to close it looks like. After a short introduction, we'll dive into RealGame business intelligence with Timo, followed by questions and answers session. So feel free to post your questions in the chat and we'll take them up towards the end of this session. This session will be recorded and none of your personal information will be visible in the final recording. So before we get going, a couple of words about RealGame business simulation game. RealGame is based on the idea that instead of looking at the final results at the end of a period, students should be able to observe how their actions and changes in their actions contribute to the company's performance in real time. This is unique in RealGame and greatly contributes to a better understanding of business dynamics, supply chain workings, and causal relationships in business operations. Student teams of 3 to 4 participants manage the simulation company and compete with each other, while the component and customer markets are computer simulated. We'll be happy to show you more in a designated educational consultation. So to the problem of execution trouble. So it seems that students have a lot of knowledge but struggle in applying it. So when real-world uncertainty hits, they freeze. And therefore, they also are struggling with applying knowledge from various domains. This relates also to how universities teach. So teaching happens in modules with specific substance matter and not really covers the cross-functionality of modern day organizations. And as they have difficulty or absent opportunity to practice operational cause effects and to see how they in reality occur, they don't get feedback loops and they don't understand how decisions on one part of the company or the operations or supply chain affect other functions and other parts of the chain. And this is not a problem that deals with the university's study program, but it is also a problem for students after their graduation. So employers expect that they can execute and not only analyze and make conclusions, but in reality take action. So when the real problems that they encounter at the workplace are ambiguous and there is time pressure, then this makes it even worse for them and even more difficult for them. So execution capability is really needed, and it may be a decisive factor in how well they are received at the workplace and how their professional career takes off. And so this is what we want to help with. So next we'll go to a demonstration with RealGame by Timo. So we have a real narrative from RealGame Business Intelligence showing what the execution gap looks like in light of key performance indicators, and also showing how students learn to execute. So our demonstration shows a learning curve. Students learn to adopt a more holistic view of company operations and its supply chain. They learn to analyze, make conclusions, and execute. So I let now Timo to start this exciting journey. Welcome, Timo.
Yeah, thank you, Kirsi, and welcome everybody. I'm sure that there will be questions you want to ask. We will have a questions and answers section in the end of the meeting today. So if you can spare your questions there. You can also use the chat in presenting the questions. And I will now start by sharing a view to RealGame Business Intelligence. And we start creating a story of what happened in one company taking part in a RealGame session. We are going through the business results from a RealGame learning session that was played by 60 students, and they were working in 12 teams. In the simulation model in question, the student teams manufacture batteries for vehicles like motorbikes and scooters and sell these batteries to international markets. Students' operational decision-making involves decisions from component purchases to customer deliveries. We will begin with a symptom, a drop in gross margin. Then we will trace the causes across purchasing, production, and inventory. And as an example, I take one of the student companies. But first, this is all the company's revenue from the beginning of the simulation until 6th of February. Our example company is one of the smallest, and for a long period, the sales did not increase practically at all. So we will take a closer look at company number 8, which you can see blinking here. Next, let's have a look at gross margin, and let's now concentrate alone on our example company. So I will deselect first all the companies, and then let's concentrate on company number 8. So this was the revenue, and then we will move to gross margin of that company. For a long time, gross margin was decreasing in this company, but in the last 2 weeks of January, it started improving. What are the reasons first for the declining gross margin and then the improvement in it? Let's find out how the team's decision-making improved. Next, I will have a look at the total inventory value of this company. So as you probably already noticed, one dot in the line is always the KPI from that specific day. So we can see the development of the KPI as time evolves.
And one day equals how many real-time hours?
Yeah, good question, Kirsi. My understanding is that the session lasted for 2 hours. So in these 2 hours, the teacher led the simulation session, which lasted for a little bit more than 1 month for the students.
Simulation time.
Simulation time. So this is the company's total inventory value. As you can see, there is a sharp drop after the beginning, indicating problems in purchasing, leading to delivery problems. So let's have a look at how it affects the other KPIs. The company, as I said, manufactures batteries. That's their end product. And they manufacture it from 4 different types of components. And making a mistake in purchasing in any of these leads to production problems, and through that, possibly to delivery problems. So we can have a look at item-specific inventory levels, and we start with the end product, the battery. When the session started, the company had an initial component inventory, and with that they were able to manufacture batteries for a couple of days. But after that, they clearly ran out of components as the battery inventory starts sharply decreasing, running out of batteries for many periods. Let's now have a look at the inventories of the specific components that are used in battery manufacturing. The first one is anode. Anode purchasing clearly has been a big challenge for almost 3 weeks for this team. We can be sure that this has affected battery manufacturing. Finally, on January 19th, they have made a big purchase, actually now leading to the other extreme of having extensive anode inventory. This has led to increasing waste from inventories. As you can see, the angle moves at around the same time when the anode inventory starts increasing.
And this is, of course, one of the areas what the supply chain professionals and purchasing professionals, of course, need to keep an eye on, to not have high inventory values and especially not to generate waste, right?
Exactly. Okay, I will move back now to the item-specific inventory levels. So we already had a look at the anode inventory. But the other components needed in battery manufacturing, how about them? Similar challenges can be seen with all the components. Low inventories in the beginning, then radical change in purchasing volumes. So this is a component called bolt. The next one is called casing. And then the final one is cathode. So altogether we need 4 different components in manufacturing the batteries, the end product. Let's go back to the battery inventory. And focus on the last 2 weeks. So even if the company still has challenges in having enough batteries for customers, at least they do not have long periods with no inventory at all. We can see that there is a positive learning curve and the team has started to understand how to execute decisions. The procurement problems with anode have also had an impact on the purchase prices of anodes. The company's average purchase cost of anodes was on a very high level for a long period. Most probably they have purchased components from faster suppliers with higher anode prices. Only lately they have been able to press down the average purchase price of anodes, most probably because of more informed purchase decisions on lead times and purchase prices.
So there is a learning curve visible here.
Definitely. The problems with component inventories show also in the cumulative production output in battery manufacturing. As you can see, the output starts increasing during the last 2 weeks when we have enough components for the production process. Now, have the problems in procurement, inventory management, and production affected company customer service? The open order backlog, indicating the value of undeliverable customer orders, has stopped increasing only at about January 26th. After that, the order backlog has remained at the same high level, indicating that the company is still struggling in solving the problems of the 3 first simulation weeks. This must have consequences for the company's customer service, its delivery accuracy.
Wow.
Well, not a very positive curve here. So this seems to be the case. They are very seldom delivering in time according to the promised delivery time. So Now that the company is solving the old order backlog, many of the customer orders waiting for a delivery may already be a couple of weeks old. So that's why they are so often late with the deliveries. This leads to another problem. In the future, the company will most probably lose many of the customers because of the late deliveries. Its image will drop radically, and it may take a long time before the customers start relying on its delivery promises again. Despite all these challenges, the company has been able to make profit during the last 2 weeks. It remains to be seen in forthcoming gaming sessions whether the team is able to continue the profitable path with the obvious future challenges with its delivery reliability and ever-weakening customer image. So this presentation concentrated on operational decision-making. The RealGame environment evolves as the sessions are played further. Once the students get their basic operational process running smoothly, the focus shifts on markets and competitor actions, bringing a more strategic, longer-range flavor to gaming.
Would you say, Timo, that a good execution requires a comprehensive understanding of how the decisions that the teams are taking affect throughout the company and throughout the supply chain?
Yes, definitely. So they need to have this kind of a holistic view from component purchases to customer deliveries to run the whole process smoothly, to balance the demand, the production, and the purchases.
Yeah, and so with this knowledge and with this skill, they become more confident and can then solve all kinds of surprising situations as well.
Yes. So if you think about the possible conclusions of this short narrative, which is based on assumptions about the team's reasoning. So what is obvious? Decision-making in RealGame requires continuous monitoring of events and situation development and reflective action. Time pressure is present, but it is not overwhelming, but makes the experience interesting and motivating. Students can clearly see the results of their actions in the form of KPI development. They feel strong ownership over their company and its decision-making and are interested in understanding the cause effects.
One more thing about RealGame Business Intelligence. I don't remember if we mentioned it, but it is a tool that's available both for the teacher and the students at any time. So even throughout the sessions, both teachers and students can take a look at how they are doing in comparison to the other companies. And so, of course, this is also a very handy tool for the teacher to evoke discussion during result sessions and to give teams some food for thought on how they will improve when the clock is again on.
Yes. So I will stop sharing here. But if you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer your questions. You can use also the chat in presenting the questions.
Well, while we are waiting for questions, one of the typical questions that teachers often have is that how much time do you need for running RealGame? And so,
Yes. Yes, we have different simulation models for different purposes, for bachelor studies, for master level studies. So I would say that with the simplest model, RealGame requires 2 times 2 hours. So even with this short period, you can learn a lot about supply chain management. But then the more advanced levels, they provide learning even for 6 weeks, like 6 times 2 or 3 hours. we also have some customers who have built a whole capstone course around RealGame, so that the course activities are all based on decision making in RealGame.
So we would say that RealGame scales from bachelor studies to the end of master's studies, and of course for executive education as well, since the problem of silo thinking and acting seems to be a prevalent one also in companies.
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell a bit about how RealGame can be taken up, about what kind of resources do you need for setting up a session?
Yeah, RealGame is cloud-based, so the only thing you need is an internet connection, and of course the laptops or the computers to be used in decision making. So the system, once the teacher set up the session, the teacher sends the usernames from the system, and then the students can start logging into their companies. One thing we didn't mention in the beginning is that as we have student teams of 3 or 4 students, they can all make decisions at the same time. So they need to collaborate in decision making. And it's quite nice to have roles within the team. So we have natural roles for the students, like a procurement manager, the production manager, and then the kind of a customer manager.
And so RealGame is based on synchronous learning, synchronous collaborative learning. So Timo, you've been researching also learning with RealGame. So what would you say are the greatest benefits of having people in the same classroom at the same time, or having them in the breakout room online at the same time?
Well, one thing that comes into my mind is that both the teachers and students, they often comment RealGame as being authentic. So the decision making is authentic in the teams, and the challenges in the simulation companies, they are authentic to the real world. So in a way, RealGame is kind of an ERP system which you use in steering the operational processes of the companies. So,
Yeah.
and of course, what Kirsi actually already mentioned earlier, RealGame is excellent in illustrating why you shouldn't work within the silos, but you need to also discuss between the functions to make the whole work optimally.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. So replicating an authentic setting in a sense that you need to consult your colleagues, you need to negotiate maybe conflicting goals, you need to decide which of the problems to solve first, and so forth. So this is good.
They are all present there. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the areas that in a recent study was mentioned that the students wished they had learned more during their university studies was negotiation. So since rather everything in the workplace is about negotiating goals, timelines, priorities, and so forth. So we try to bring our contribution to this, to close this gap as well, by allowing students to rehearse how to negotiate in a setting that has very many such aspects that you meet in the workplace.
Yeah, definitely. So in a way, I would say that the learning in RealGame has 2 levels. You have the hard skills, like related, for example, the business operations, but then you have these softer skills also related to collaboration and communication. And I think one of the unique features in RealGame, the real-time processing, makes also the communication very vivid, and they really immerse in gaming, partly of course because the challenges are also authentic. So it's meaningful for the students. They understand how this relates, for example, their future careers.
Okay, if not more questions, we encourage you to let us know if you want to see more of RealGame by booking a free educational consultation. We're happy to accommodate it to the timeline you have in mind. And so going to our website and clicking the Contact Us page, you can simply reserve a time for us to meet. And in the meantime, we are also available by email. So Timo and Dennis, or our info address, let us know how we can help you with designing effective and engaging study programs that take advantage of a real-time operated simulation game. So thank you for today, and hope to see you in our forthcoming webinars next year.
Thank you, everybody.